we're really excited to have with us right now the governor of Wisconsin, who's also up on that podium.
That's right.
Last night, Scott Walker.
And in fact, I could see my seat right there. You can see a cheesehead right over the corner there.
Is that how you're holding your seat?
That is.
Isn't that good?
That is
not hard to
impressive.
miss a cheesehead.
Except for in this crowd, I think there are going to be a lot of cheeseheads tonight, right?
There are indeed. With Paul Ryan, certainly with Reince Priebus, even as the national chair. But tonight, I think everybody's going to be a cheesehead.
All right, so I have two questions. The first is more of a personal one, and then we're going to get to the substantive one. But can you tell us what it's like to walk out on a podium, up to a podium like that? You've been on national television. You've been on the national stage. Is this really scary, invigorating? What does it feel like, and how different does it feel?
It's a little surreal. I mean, you come on out, and actually right before you go out, you kind of take that breath. My dad was a preacher, so when my brother and I were young, we used to literally come on out, and we would. My dad, you never knew even when we were young, we'd have to lead a prayer or lead a responsive reading. So being in front of a crowd wasn't it, but obviously nothing like the crowd out here. But once you get out, you feel the energy. You draw it all in. You feel the people out there. The biggest thing you have to remember is to connect not just with these delegates, but connect with the people back at home.
All right. The next question, the more substantive one, is how on earth did Wisconsin become the center of the political universe? Your race in the recall.
Yeah.
Obviously the vice presidential candidate. A state that we think of as a blue state. It's been Democratic forever. What do the battles in Wisconsin tell us about what we can expect going forward?
Well, on the lighter side, it must have been something in the water, because Paul Ryan grew up in Janesville. I grew up 15 miles over in Delavan. Reince Priebus grew up 20 miles over from us in Kenosha. So there must have been something in the water in the 80s.
Yeah, and you are all in the same cohort, right?
Right. Well, we were all people who came into our own in terms of our political thought during President Reagan's end of his second term. But I think, seriously, beyond just that, you saw Paul and I and Reince, even though he's a political guy, really substantive-based, more policy-based than any RNC chair I've known before. All of us before the 2000 election said, hey, we're going to hone in and just talk about the economic and fiscal crisis we face in our state and in America. And we coordinated things from our U.S. Senate race to my race to the House of Representatives to both houses of the legislature. And we went from everything 2 years ago being Democrat to just about everything being Republican now.
It is a remarkable turnaround. And I couldn't help but notice yesterday, and I'm an astute observer of things like ovations in the convention halls, it sounded to me like you were nominated for president yesterday. You had a bigger ovation. I'm serious. You had a bigger ovation when you announced Wisconsin's results than even Governor Romney did in going over the top at 11:44 yesterday. And I'm wondering what you think is behind that. I mean, is it just the recall? Is it the achievements in your state, in a blue-leaning state? Or is it even a sense of personality, that here we got a guy that's got the message and got it done?
Oh, I think it's less about the personality. I think it's more about what we accomplished in Wisconsin and what it means for America. I think your first 2 points about the idea that people standing up in principle, following through on the promises they made in the campaign, and then in our case, doing it under really sustained pressure to back down, pressure to do something different. I think we did all that, and the fact that a lot of these people, not just people from my delegation from Wisconsin, but people from all across America sent in their $20 or their $30. Maybe some of them joined up with a volunteer phone bank. So many of the people who are here, even though they don't live in Wisconsin, feel like they had a role to play in that recall. And in winning, they think they sent a message for November, that the hardworking taxpayers are going to be back in charge.
What's it going to take to get that same kind of energy and enthusiasm that we heard just in this hall for one state's governor behind your nominee?
Well, I think a little bit connects to another cheesehead. I think when Paul Ryan was selected, people asked me, what does it mean about Paul Ryan? I said, what it really says is not about Paul Ryan, it says about Mitt Romney. We knew he had the experience. We knew, as a governor, we knew in the Olympics, we knew in the private sector. In all those areas, he had the experience to become president. But when he picked Paul Ryan a few weeks ago in the USS Wisconsin, what he really told people in my state and across America is not only he had the experience and the skills, he's got the courage and the commitment, the passion to be an exceptional president. I think that's the sort of thing that both motivates the base, at the same time it appeals to a lot of swing voters.
All right, so when we're watching Wisconsin on election night, we're watching the results come in, what is going to be the county or the place to watch to know who's going to win the state of Wisconsin?
I think clearly, if you look at Rock County and Kenosha County, those are the bookends of Paul Ryan's congressional district. On the southern edge of Wisconsin, touches the Illinois border. Historically, Bill Clinton won that district. Barack Obama did 4 years ago. But Paul Ryan wins with more than 60% of the vote every year he's been in office since he first ran. Right. And those are blue-collar union workers who love Paul Ryan and he doesn't hide from his issues. He's talked about it for years, and yet he gets almost 2/3 of the vote. If he eats into those votes in Janesville and Kenosha, he'll win.
We're holding you to these predictions.
Yes,
We're also going to
in
hold you
fact.
to this. Amy, do the honors, please. We're having our guests sign in.
This is a virtual guest book.
Very
Now,
nice.
I was going to ask you if you drew the state, and then you could put on the.
It's my hand.
All right,
That's
what do you
the
think?
stuff.